And we are live. Oh, we should be. So welcome to Wednesday's live stream where we talk about videos that I've done on the channel. It's IT, cybersecurity related. Or we can discuss any topics to any videos that are on the channel that have recently been done. As always, I'm going to start doing this with covering some cybersecurity related stuff that you should be aware of, recent programs that should be patched, things like that. And the most prominent one at the moment is the XZ vulnerability, so the backdoor in the XZ library. Excuse me. So, what is it? It basically, let me switch this over. So, XZ Utils is an underlying library, libLZMA, are open source projects that implement the LZMA compression and decompression. They're included in many Linux distributions out of the box and are very popular with developers and are used extensively throughout Linux. So there's a vulnerability with, if you've got SSH exposed publicly to the internet, it could become a problem for you. So almost 2 years ago, a developer under the name of Sheridan joined the project and started opening pull requests for various bug fixes and improvements. So apparently he used fake accounts to send feature requests and complaints about bugs to pressure the original maintainer, eventually causing the need to add another maintainer to the repository. So Sheridan became a maintainer on the repository. After contributing code to the for approximately 2 years, in 2023, Sheridan introduced a few changes to XZ that were included as part of the release of 5.6.0 version of XZ. So it's like gzip type of program that is used for compression. And among these changes was a sophisticated backdoor. These have gone on for years. I'll leave a link in the description. In fact, it should already be there, to the GitHub page if you want to take a look at that. Which discusses it in more depth than what I'm going to go into. The most important information is it appears as though the backdoor is added to the SSH daemon on the vulnerable machine, enabling a remote attacker to execute code. This means that any machine with a vulnerable package that exposes SSH to the internet is potentially vulnerable. So let me just change this back 1 second. I'll find this. Where was it? Not that one. This one. Right, I put this back again. Right. So we've got our Mr. Hacker guy. He sends an SSH authentication public key containing a malicious payload. So this libLZMA, if it's compiled with the backdoor and can execute remote code. So the SSH key sent with the malicious payload, RSA public decrypt as part of the public key authentication. So this extracts a payload and verifies it, and then your libLZMA utility basically executes some malicious code and can give an attacker access. So if you've got SSH open, sounds like the end of the world. There's some systems that are affected, but it's like mainstream cutting edge systems. So let me show you what systems are affected. Just move this back over. Let me get out of that a second. I'll leave that. So, going back to the notes that I put on this. So this was found by a Microsoft developer by accident on the 29th of March. You can read the full story into it if you want to, but basically they was doing some testing on the machine and wondered why SSH was causing high CPU usage, and this was accidentally found. So XZ versions 5.6.0 and 5.6.1. So straight away, detection vulnerabilities. Considering a lot of these websites that I've looked at are from security researchers and things, a lot of them say just run XZ minus version to figure out what version you've got. Does that seem stupid to anybody else? You're going to potentially run a program with a backdoor in it to see if it's got a backdoor in it. That just seems daft. So, let me just pull something up. Let me transition this back 1 second. Just pull something up I can log into. So I'll just log this in. I won't, can't know what the password is. I'll do. So, move this over here again. Transition this screen back in. Right, so, yeah. Make this a bit bigger. So, don't run XZ minus version. That's just a stupid thing to do. So, I don't know where XZ is on this, so I've typed which XZ. So it's in user bin XZ. So we can type strings user bin XZ and grep utils. And it'll give you the version. So if you're not familiar with what the strings command does, it literally just searches a file, a binary, whatever. Use the Linux command for searching strings in a binary. So you can see that this one is running 5.4.1. So that's the easiest way to determine what version you've got. Let me move this out of the way. So I'll leave, if you're not sure which, that's one way of doing it. I've also put a command there which will automatically find which one it's for and grep the right versions. So if it comes up with version 5.6.0 or 5.6.1, it will come up. Interestingly enough, somebody found a kill switch in this. I can't remember. I wish I could give the guy credit because I can't remember where it was. It might be on the GitHub page. It's linked below in the description. So by setting this environment variable, it apparently that's a kill switch, and it'll doing that is obviously you don't want to just start setting environment variables for kill switches and stuff. I was just mentioning it because it was kind of funny that it had a kill switch in there. I don't know if the chat's working. I'm guessing it is. Feel free for someone to type. So this is a command that you want. In fact, let me do it. Let's see if this works while we're here. Is typing this into a window going to work? Yeah. So there's a command that we can type in, which will find out whether you're vulnerable or not. So just, can I make this any bigger? I don't think I can. I think it's maximum. Right, so affected operating systems. Arch Linux. So Arch Linux was, if you just run pacman -syu, to do the system update. Now, these are just recommendations on how to update the system. I wouldn't go with the update. It's that serious that your system could already be compromised. So, yeah, I'd blow it away and do a fresh install if that was the case. But if you're not running a version between these dates, then you're fine to do the update. So it's the install medium of 2024-03.1, virtual machine images from 1st of March to the 15th of March, and container images between the 24th of the 2nd and 28th of the 3rd. So resolution is system upgrade. That's just a way to obviously get away from the vulnerability, but the point is you might have already been infected. That's how serious it is. Center stream did have that's not affected. It did have the XZ library, but just because of the way it works, it's not vulnerable. Debian, so don't be alarmed straight away. This is the unstable version of Debian. So no stable versions of Debian are known to be affected. The compromised packages were part of Debian testing, Debian Unstable, and the experimental distributions with versions from 5.51 alpha 1st of the 2nd 2024 up to and including 5611. And again, recommended to update the XZ Utils packages. Again, just doing the update, you need to dig more into this and make sure you've not already been affected. I literally will blow the system away and start again. So, Gen 2. So the backdoor is in the XZ file, but because of the way that Gen 2 works, it's Gen 2 doesn't support or include these patches, but analysis is still going on. However, additional vectors may still be identified in the future. So they're still issuing a security advisory at the moment, and the resolution for that's a downgrade to the latest version before the backdoor is introduced. I'll leave a link to a forum post or something where you can see all these, but I don't recommend upgrading. I recommend starting from scratch, which I appreciate can be awkward. So Kali Linux between the 26th of March and the 29th of March, if you're running a version of Kali between those two dates, yeah, that was vulnerable. If you update it now, it's not vulnerable. I'm going to keep saying, just updating if you've already been affected is not going to help. Let me turn this phone off. Stupid thing. I forgot I left it on actually. So Fedora 40 and Fedora Rawhide both have issues and are vulnerable. I don't think you'd have to check the notes if you're using Fedora. I don't think it's, I think they've rolled it back to the previous version. OpenSUSE or SUSE, Tumbleweed and MicroOS versions between the 7th of March and the 28th. So obviously you can see the common factor here. So that's also vulnerable. Unaffected versions are Alpine Linux, Amazon Linux. The FreeBSD is not affected by it. So I've got Gen 2 is not affected because of what we referred to up here, or the way it works with systemd and that. So Gen 2 is not really affected, but keep an eye on it if you're using that. Linux Mint, Red Hat Enterprise Linux. With FreeBSD, I'm assuming NetBSD and OpenBSD will be fine as well. I just not stuck them on there. So that's where we are with that. Now, I say I'm not going to go digging through all the if you take a look at the GitHub page below, there's a lot of information this that security researchers a lot better than me we've already been digging into and trying to figure out what's going on. So say in the beginning, somebody's literally been sending pull requests and getting them merged in. Brian Krebs did an article on it as well, where he believes it's the state level actor. So this shows you why I get what SSH is for. But there's ways to protect from things like this. If you need to open, you shouldn't really be opening any ports unless absolutely necessary. If you need to open SSH, you can still restrict it from, by only being able to connect from certain IP addresses. You can set up VPNs, so you've got a VPN to wherever you are before you SSH into things. So there's a number of ways of protecting against it. And this is still very much ongoing with people digging in and trying to figure out what is going on. Eternity TV, hello, welcome. I'm glad we've got someone joining us. I'm usually sat on my own for these. So yeah, this is very much an ongoing situation. You need to keep an eye on it, whichever operating systems you're using. Let me just transition this back 1 second. So I'm not going to dive massively into how that works through. There's a lot of effort gone in by a lot of security researchers. There was 2 people on the XZ project, and one of them, I say, appears to be a bit malicious. Now, what else was I looking for? There's something else I wanted to mention in here. Let me just pull this out. I'll pull them up in a minute. Something else, actually. So, with that, that's the XZ issue. So, it's not the end of the world unless you're running, like I said, the bleeding edge versions of Linux and things. Where's that going? Get off. So, a couple of other things that we might as well mention. So, there's a lot of these to cover each week. So, oh, wrong button. I'm just trying to put these in order because they just came out completely random. So back to WordPress again. In fact, we'll cover browsers first. This is a nice feature. Let me transition this across so you can see it. I think we're about as big as we're going to go. Right. So there's a new feature coming to Google Chrome, which blocks people from stealing cookies. So why is this important? Everybody bangs the drum about multi-factor authentication being a thing, and it absolutely should. You should enable it everywhere you go. But by enabling multi-factor authentication, once you've authenticated from a particular machine, and if you click on a link or someone manages to steal your cookies, and they can then basically replay those cookies to get access to whatever session that you was on. Now, Chrome's introducing this feature, which I don't know why. It's easy to say I don't know why people didn't think of this before, but why cookies are not bound to a specific machine anyway. This is a really good idea. So Google's unveiled a new web feature called device-bound session credentials that will help from cookie theft. Which basically, what if your cookies are stolen, stops them being used on another machine. That was something I picked up on, which I thought was kind of cool, and I hope Firefox and other mainstream browsers use this. But that's not what I was looking for. It was this one. Oh yeah, sorry, that just caught my attention and we went for it. If you're using the WP members plugin, yeah, it exposes WordPress to injection attacks. WordPress is good and everything, but if you're not keeping it up to date, you're just going to have a nightmare with it. And again, with multi-factor authentication, if you're running WordPress, enable multi-factor authentication on login. Restrict the URLs. If you only need to be able to log in from an office or from home to add articles and blog posts, then just restrict where you can log in from. There's many ways of doing that. HAPOX is an example. You can just prevent access to the login URL. Just, all these attacks are pretty stupid, and people are just leaving themselves wide open all the time. Let me put me back up here. I find the other thing. I don't think that was the first WordPress one. Let me close this down. There's definitely another one. There was another WordPress one as well. I can't see it now. But yeah, if you're running WordPress, make sure it's up to date. Make sure all the plugins up to date. Make sure you use trusted plugins. The developers that write plugins for WordPress, you don't need to be licensed to add a plugin. Anyone can create a plugin and upload it. It could be malicious intentionally. It just could be a fact that whoever's wrote it doesn't have a clue on input sanitization. SQL injection things, it's 2024 and we're still having them. We're on bleepingcomputer.com again on this one. If you've got a Google Pixel, there's 2 zero-day flaws being exploited by forensics firms. These basically allow somebody to unlock your phone without the PIN to gain access to them. So while it's not really an issue of you, well, it's not really a security issue from clicking on things. If you don't want someone to have access to your phone, so if you're running Google Pixel, you want to update those. No, there it is. Again. Yet another WordPress plugin. So this is Layer Slider, and this is a widely used, well, impacts 1 million sites. I'd say more than that, because this is a very widely used and popular WordPress plugin. What does this one do? Unauthenticated SQL injection. So unauthenticated means that you don't need to log in to abuse it. Anybody can basically just craft a URL to, if it's vulnerable to SQL injection, pretty much take your site over straight away. So yeah, if you're running this, I assume it's been fixed. So is this? Yeah, it's got a CVS score of 9.8. That's pretty bad. From 25th of March 2024, so it's just about a week old. Music discovered by researcher, I can't say that, Amawad. Received a bounty of $5,500 for this. So the flaw impacts versions 7.9.11 to 7.10. So you need to patch above that. You see a theme going every week. I figured I'd do these security updates every week, and they literally seem to be the same things over and over again. Just grab a drink. So, man, there's a few articles this way. Favorites. Remove that. Remove that. I don't need to see that WordPress thing again. I've just done it. Done the Chrome update. Done that. Okay. Couple of I'll get to them in a minute. There's if you've got an Apple phone and you're prone to using the same credentials over and over again, how many times have I said use a password manager, use multi-factor authentication, and even though you use an MFA, Apple users are falling prey to a sophisticated phishing campaign designed to hide. It's not really sophisticated. It's if somebody gets your username and your password to log into a website and you've got MFA on it and it says a push notification and you've got to accept or reject it, people are just bombarding those, so your phone keeps popping up every few minutes saying accept or reject, hoping that in the process of annoying you, you'll also click apply. Now, Microsoft's done a good way. Microsoft have covered MFA a good way, where you need to enter a number when you sign into Microsoft accounts. That's just made life so much easier, and other people should jump on that as well. So make sure, browsers, I should have covered these first. So these 2 0 days in both Chrome based browsers and Firefox as well. Now, just so you're not taking my word for it, I'll pull this one over. So these are found at Pawn to Home, and so patch now, and so is the Chrome ones. So while it's true, every time you close your browser and you relaunch it again, it usually checks for updates and will automatically update each time you launch a browser. So most browsers are sensible enough to do that these days. However, so this update affects Windows, Linux, and Mac, and it's a privilege escalation. So the updates are already available, but Chrome's going to automatically push them out over the coming days and weeks. And Firefox is pretty much the same. So yeah, manually jump into your browser and check that your browsers are up to date. Get rid of that. I could sit here just covering cybersecurity all day. I'm trying to do them in. Let me have a look at that. That was a Firefox. I think that was the same one. In fact, it is exactly the same issue. 2 Firefox 0 days again at Pawn to Home. Wow. That's a fair amount. So yeah, just manually update both Chrome and Firefox. Trying to go through these as quick as I can because there was quite a few things that was worth mentioning. This one we'll cover. So I'm just trying to cover these because when you get news articles on them, people just do like scare tactics as well. So critical open VPN flaw. So 1 second on that. It's privilege escalation flaw. So OpenVPN, they've already released a new version, 2.6.10, which has been several bug fixing improvements. So this is for the Windows version of the OpenVPN client. So there's 4 vulnerabilities that were fixed, and they're pretty much privilege escalation vulnerabilities. Now, there's one related to, where did I read it? You need to update it. This one. Yeah, so you do need to update the Windows client to the latest version. If you connect into untrusted computers, so it's not a, people see critical open VPN. It's a good way of getting clicks, no matter which website publishes it, but it's out to Windows Open VPN client, not the VPN server itself. I mean, you should patch it anyway, but I say unless you're connecting to random remote machines, such as I don't know, Open VPN providers, they're generally untrusted guys. Buzzing noises and everybody else can hear that. I think it's a power pack for this mixer. Yeah, we might as well mention this. So AI is going mad at the moment, and everybody's pushing AI. So obviously you've got AI search results. When you're searching Google for anything, it basically uses AI to give you the search results. And it's basically it's just pushing a load of malicious sites to the top of it. You can see in here somebody searched for Pitbull puppy for sale, Craigslist. On the AI experimental stuff, is listing a load of malicious websites first. So a few people seem to be getting caught up by that. Obviously, if you click on any of these links, you get crap like this coming up. So the website wants to give you notifications. It's stupid. Just loads of malicious ways to try to make you click on things. So you can. This is a good advice, actually. As somebody that's run an IT company for 20 years, I still get this literally on a weekly basis. When you're using whichever browser you're using, and you get this when you visit the website. This website wants to give you notifications. So if you click allow to that, in the bottom right hand corner of your Windows tray where you get the notifications coming up, you'll just keep getting loads of crap coming up from loads of random sites. So just reading the comments. So yeah, I get calls all the time from people like saying the machine's infected, and it's just usually notifications in Google Chrome. And the easiest way to do them is to just go into your Chrome settings, content, notifications, and remove the sites that are allowed there, and you'll find that your machine becomes clean and stops pestering you. Let me put me back up here. So AI is a great tool. Government will likely use it for mass surveillance. AI can sift through tons of stuff, which that could not feasibly hire enough humans for. This is true. So I also have concerns about that. How that's used by government, and if it does, are they going to ask it to produce images of people that look like something, and who's that data trained on? Yeah, there's good and bad parts of AI. It's biased on how it's trained. It's a good point, though. I mean, there are very good uses for AI. Writing articles and things, marketing stuff. I mean, I'd say so if you know how to use the prompts, because you can tell AI written content. But yeah, imagine your local police department saying, I don't know, you upload a photograph and produce photographs of that, produce images of people that look like this. Yeah. That's not something I'm necessarily a fan of. Get rid of that one. AI is exciting but scary. Lots of uses for it. It is. So obviously it's the in thing at the moment. Now, while it can be used by people for good, it can also be used by people for bad as well. So yeah, it is very scary with what you can do with it. I mean, yeah, you can have it write phishing emails. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing about AI. I mean, anyone with half a brain or that knows how to write can pretty much send phishing emails and things. There is a lot you can do with it. In fact, talking about AI, ChatGPT no longer you no longer need an account to go into ChatGPT. That didn't work out well. Where'd that go? What's the date on this? Let's send it across so you can see it as well. ChatGPT no longer requires an account, so anybody can use it. So this was only announced on Monday. That any user can hop on. You don't need to sign up. Now, there are some restrictions, obviously. I mean, I do have an account with it, and I do have a paid account. You've just got to be careful what information that you're putting into it. These are all kind of leading on from each other. Where's, let me close that. So yeah, anybody can use. I think it's a good thing. I use it all the time for social media posts, generating images. You can point it to a news article, so rewrite this and generate me an image, and it will do. So it makes marketing a lot easier for people. That means we've got left. Which brings me up to this while we're discussing AI. I'm not actually really quick at searching this stuff. I just already had it to mention. 6 prompts you don't want employees putting into Microsoft Copilot. So I'm going to do a demo, a video on Microsoft Copilot. So this is the one that's, this is the office-based one. So it's if you're in the UK, I think it's like £300 a year payable in advance. It's good for certain people in the company to have it, but I wouldn't recommend that you do it to all your employees. It's quite expensive at that. But this just shows you when you're talking about AI. So people use it and start uploading like spreadsheets of employer data and stuff. So it can contain highly sensitive information like social security numbers, addresses, salary information, and more. Yeah, don't upload things like that. Just if you're going to use AI for anything, then just keep your data in mind. Don't be uploading sensitive or personal data. Yeah, so what was this article again? 6 prompts you don't want employees putting into Microsoft Copilot. The first one being show me new employee data from uploading a spreadsheet or CSV full of employees with all their social security numbers, national insurance number if you're in the UK, salaries, addresses, what bonuses were recently awarded, and it can help you with this. So this is, excuse me, so it doesn't know what files you're supposed to see. So by uploading like employee data and stuff like that, allows people to run a search on that. Wow, tickly cough. Are there any files with credentials in them? See, we can see about it being used for good and used for bad as used. There's lots of uses for it. It certainly is. But you can upload documents and then say, are there any files with credentials in them? And it will list them for you. I have actually tried this, and it certainly will. Are there any files with APIs or access keys in them? Provide a list of them. What information is around the purchase of companies? So you really need to be careful what information you give Microsoft Copilot to. You also need to be, obviously, if you're using ChatGPT, the normal Copilot, anything that you're using, just be careful. No sensitive data should be uploaded at all. In fact, I'm going to do a video on private GPT. I've already ran through it once. Generally, before I do the video that I'm currently working on, I'll normally do it once, and then I'll like start again and run through it again. I generally don't tend to make notes. You can probably tell. On anything that I do, I just wing it. That's not just with YouTube videos. I do that with anything. So I do have one upcoming on how to install private GPT. So how does that differ from ChatGPT? Well, it doesn't need internet access. So you can upload your own documents to that and ask questions on those documents. And it works quite fine, even depending on what LLM that you use. So the large language model that powers it. But yeah, it runs fine even on laptop using the right one. But that way you can upload your own documents and search them in the safe knowledge that they're not going anywhere. And that's how you should be using it for that type of documentation. I can get that off anyway. On that one. So what are the disadvantages of running it locally? It's not as powerful as ChatGPT by any means, or Copilot. It doesn't run exactly the same way. So when you upload it, I'll try and do the video on this. It's not going to be this week. It's going to be next. It's been a long week. I'll try and do the video on this next week. But so it doesn't have internet access. You upload your documents to it, and then you basically talk to your documents. So you're asking it information on what you've given it, what information you've given it. So it pretty much knows nothing when you start out. It does have some basic stuff that the LLMs have in them. But yeah, you basically train it on all the downsides of it. I'm trying to think if it's a downside. Because you're starting with nothing, it doesn't have all the crap that's built into ChatGPT that's picked up from Google. All Microsoft's like, and yes, that one, it's Microsoft Copilot stuff. It's bringing results back from Bing when you chat GPT. It's like information that's compiled from Google over the years. When using your own, it's the information that you give it, so you can upload your own documents quite safely, and then you can ask it questions on your documents. So anything that's sensitive, you can use your own. Public ones, just don't upload anything with sensitive information on it. It's just going to be a bad day. And one of the reasons why, if you trust people and you think they're not going to do anything with your data, I mean, ChatGPT has a load of plugins. It's been found out that those plugins can like snarf the data that you're typing in. Snarf, is that a word? Something out of Thundercats, I think, from years ago. Oh no, that was the name of the cat. They can basically siphon off what you're typing in. So even if it's not something like ChatGPT, that's plugins that are doing it, and it's people that are saying they'll protect your privacy, it's a known fact Google are not there to protect privacy. Neither is Microsoft. I wonder if I pulled that up actually. So the new version of Microsoft Outlook, apparently, according to Proton, the security mail providers, the new version of Microsoft Outlook is collecting your data. It doesn't surprise me. So Google to delete billions of users' personal data collected via Chrome browser. So this might not sound like a big deal at first, until we scroll down. And it's data that reflects the private browsing activities of users. So yes, Google has been collecting your private. You just can't. There's no such thing as a free service either, and people just, they want your data. You are the product, I guess. So yeah, Google has been collecting information on websites people have been visiting from incognito tabs. But as bad as it gets, we could do this all day. Other things to cover, I suppose. If you've used vBulletin, I don't even know if you'll know what vBulletin is. It was a bulletin board stroke forum type of system that was very popular. What site we're on now? Cybersecurity News. That was very popular back in the day. I've run it myself. So the forums have been breached. If you're someone that's run this in the past, or you've been on the forums for whatever reason, the accounts are for sale on the dark web. I love that saying, the dark web. And this is why you don't use the same username and passwords anywhere. If a site will let you use random usernames, I know many of them don't, and they want you to tie your email address to them. You can create throwaway email addresses. Firefox supports it. I don't use Chrome, so I'm not sure, but I know Firefox. You can, I think via DuckDuckGo, you can create throwaway email addresses. Bitwarden has a generate username function. So if you don't need to put an email address in, you can generate a completely random username. Another thing when you're filling these out is first don't drink this stuff, not good for you. Another thing when it comes to filling any type of form out on a website, I can't remember, who did I go on the other day? I'm sure it was a government website. It was. It was a supplier application form for a government website. Started asking me stupid questions that websites used to do like years ago. What was your favourite car? What was your teacher's name? What was the name of your first pet? If you ever come across that, just go on Bitwarden and generate, like the way you generate a password, you click generate random password and you can generate a random string of 20 characters or whatever. Just generate the random string. In the notes field, just put what the question was and then paste the random string in. Don't be giving personal data away. The other thing I felt that was worth mentioning, this is the same thing we mentioned earlier with Google search results just bringing malicious crap up. Google's getting really bad. I mean, Bing doesn't search things very well. Maybe better off using that. But yeah, DuckDuckGo or something. Google's getting really bad for the crap that it suggests and the malicious sites and malicious links in ads. And this shows one example. Let's read this. A Nova security team collects leaked passwords from dark web regularly and compares the hashes against users. And say that let me pull it up. Sorry, I clicked it off. A Nova security team collects these leaked passwords from the dark web, regularly compares the hashes against the users, and if there is a match, gets changed. I actually support doing this. When I do like websites for people, even my own website, when you sign in and you try to create a password, it will just query have I been pwned and see if that's been used before. And then you can check them. So if that password has been exposed before, then refuse to let people register with it. Now I do this quite a lot for companies that I do sites for, as I say. The collecting hash passwords is a really good thing to do, and it is something that we do ourselves. Yeah. That was a really good comment. Yeah, thank you for mentioning that, because that is something that all security teams should do. Unfortunately, many companies don't have people that can do that for them. As part of the service that we provide is what we do with the company. Obviously, we're looking after clients, and that is one of the methods that we use. So, a really good comment, that. This is again down to Google search results, but I thought it was mentioning anyway. Especially with home lab users and things. Putty is a terminal client. I've not used it for a while actually, because SSH is built into our Linux systems, FreeBSD systems, any BSD based system. And it's now built into Windows as well, so there's not really a need for it. But this highlights the same thing. Hackers utilize malicious adverts. Again. So what they're doing is everybody uses Putty to remotely access systems, and people are using ads on Google's site to promote either access to a site that will infect you or access to a site that contains a malicious putty binary. So if we look here, you can see, can I still do this? Where's the option's not there? Where is it? Is it here? Don't know if this will work, but we'll find out. So this, yeah, it did highlight. It's a silly colour to use, but it's hidden, so I can't do much about it. So this is a proper putty.org website, and you can see up here, putty homepage. So you go to the fake site and download. It's not hard to inject code into putty or something like that. So you run it, and it could send your details off anywhere. And this is the issue with, look, this is Google again. I can't do anything because I've got this jaw thing on the screen. As a case, I can get off. I'm going to cover a Stream Deck at some stage as well. If you've not got a Stream Deck, even if you're not streaming, those things are absolutely awesome. I bought, I don't even know where it is. Over there somewhere. I bought one with 6 keys on it. Then didn't realise that you can set pages up and stuff on them, so I bought a bigger one. But Stream Decks are really good for... one of the keys I've set up for Shrug. But you can, obviously, I can use it for changing scenes in OBS. But yeah, back to this site. So, puttyconnect.info. This is a do not visit that site. That's a malicious site. Gives you the option to download a malicious putty binary. And this is back. Google needs a. As long as they're making money out of the adverts, they're not asked. And they really need to police that a bit more. Because I've been doing this for so long, and say, God, I've been running this company for over 20 years. I've been in IT all my life, and one of my big issues is just assuming that people wouldn't fall for things like this, and it's hard sometimes for me to put myself in the shoes of non-technical people, and I do try and keep that in the back of my mind all the time when I'm talking to people. Even when I do videos and stuff, I'll skip things that I assume are very easy to do, and people leave comments on them saying, you skipped that bit, why did you do it? And if I'm doing, it's hard doing the channel because sometimes they're sometimes I don't even know the audience properly. So I own a business and I use YouTube as a way of making people more aware of who we are and what we can do. So it's aimed at obviously getting clients that way. We've pulled schools, colleges, restaurants. I pulled a lot of things through Unify videos, PF-Sense, OpenSense videos, mainly PF-Sense. I don't see OpenSense used that much commercially. I must admit the ones that I see are the ones that I've put out there. It's generally PF-Sense. So it's hard to guess sometimes who I'm aiming at, even when I'm talking to clients and I'm like, just assume people know how to do things. And it's a really bad habit that I've got that I really need to get out of. I think I'm too old in the tooth for that by now. You've not frozen. I'm just reading the comments before I put them up. See, this is absolutely spot on. That's really bad, isn't it? A malicious sponsored ad. Google is massive. Yeah. They can't catch everything. I get that they can't catch everything. No one's ever going to catch everything, but it's as if they just don't care and they just yeah, if you want to pay them money, then they've certainly not policed enough. I mean, I was looking somewhere at YouTube the other day and the amount of money that turns over on its own. YouTube always avoids any type of people commenting on money and things, usually because it's Google or I can't remember what the parent company's called. But yeah, sponsored ads on websites. I mean, if they can use AI and everybody's selling AI, why can't they use it to detect malicious ads? Really, not that hard. It's not rocket science, but they can make money out of it. I got to be careful what I say anyway. So, yeah, it's like anything. Just be careful on what you're doing. But the whole AI thing. Yeah, AI firewalls, AI cybersecurity will be a big thing. They are, and even Microsoft, what's it called? Microsoft Global Security, something like that. They're bringing a new product out, which is like a cloud-based firewall. I'm not completely against the cloud, but obviously we use it, provide some services for it, but I don't think everything should be up there. So you have your firewall with Microsoft, you back up with Microsoft, all your emails with Microsoft, all your documents with Microsoft, or even Google if you're using the Google stuff. Right, that's most of the security stuff out of the way. So if nothing else, I will cover these. Even if one person watches any video that I do and they go, oh, my WordPress is out of date, or they just get the idea, if it saves one person, then that's good. So I did read something about Google VPN breaking Windows and DNS. Let me get rid of this. Can't find Obsidian. So let me pull this over. Might do a video on this. I mean, Obsidian. This is a great editor. Again, it's hard figuring out sometimes what to do videos on, but if it just makes people aware of things, this is a really good editor. You see, I use it all the time. Pull it back. So, this was get off. This was one article that I was talking about, actually. One second. Yeah, it's fine. So obviously Proton Mail is a trusted and respected service, I guess. And they're claiming that Microsoft push everything on everybody. And I guess it's because what are you going to do? There's not really another option out there. Microsoft just kind of monopolized the whole Office thing, and you don't really have anywhere else to go. And people don't like change. So they started pushing the new version of Outlook out. It's horrible. Even like when it comes to adding a new email account, they're trying to cut down the user interface. And I can see why. Maybe they think by hiding all the interface, all the options that you've got available to you, that it's a good idea. But even when you go to add a new account, if it's IMAP or anything like that, it has the server names hidden, and it's a nightmare. So anyway, well, let's go any bigger. Yeah. Where's my mouse gone? Lost my mouse. It's because it's white on white. So this was updated on 1st of March 2024, and Proton are claiming the rollout of the new app appears the company has transformed its email app into a surveillance tool for targeted advertising. Microsoft Office isn't cheap by any means whatsoever. It went up significantly when they introduced NCE. I don't know if you're aware what NCE is. It's Microsoft's new commerce experience. So if you're a company and you buy, I don't know, you get 50 licenses with a 12-month commitment, and you get them through me, and I provide them for you, and you decide to screw me, that just leaves me having to pay Microsoft, and they put the prices up a stupid amount as well. So yeah, you wouldn't expect to get adverts in Microsoft products. This is saying everyone talks about the privacy washing campaigns of Google and Apple as they mine our online data to generate advertising revenue, but now it looks like Outlook is no longer simply an email service. It's data collection mechanism for Microsoft's 801 external partners. Here's how and why. Let me just... I had to check the date on that. Wasn't the 1st of April. Some European users who download the new Outlook for Windows will encounter a model with a troubling disclosure about how Microsoft and several hundred third-party processes their data. Guessing it's European because of GDPR. And that's why people in other countries outside EU might not have seen them. Is this real? I swear to God, I thought this was an April Fool's joke. We and our 801 partners process data to store and/or access information on your device, develop and improve products, personalize ads and content, measure ads and content, derive audience insights, obtain precise geolocation data, and identify users through device scanning. Some third parties may process your data on the basis of their legitimate interest. You may exercise your right to consent or object at any time by selecting the Manage Preferences on the link below, or through Outlook settings. By clicking the Accept button, by clicking the Accept All button, you agree to use these technologies and the processing of your data for all these purposes while using Outlook. If this wasn't on Proton.me, I was expecting the date to be 1st of April. So, as we've just read out, I'm not reading that again because I've just done it one. This latest version of Outlook confirms that more of big tech's profit margins are becoming ever more dependent on collection of your personal data. That's what I was saying. These days, everybody wants your data because there's money in it. And if people know what you're interested in, then I'll get out of this. This is a good point. Proton Mail is apparently very good, but I think they can still get subpoenaed because they are in Switzerland and maybe will be difficult with strict privacy laws. This is 100% true, and they can. This happened not so long ago, and I remember reading this recently. But yeah, they absolutely can. In fact, just share this with you. There's no reason we can't. Yeah, so the following information, right, so this is law enforcement employment. Using Proton for services. Oh, stop it. Stop it. Using Proton services for activities that break Swiss laws against Proton terms and conditions. Under Swiss law, we're required to cooperate with law enforcement agencies and criminal investigations within the framework of Swiss law and privacy regulations. So yes, they can absolutely be subpoenaed. Again, they collect user information according with their terms and conditions and privacy. Got the GDPR and HIPAA stuff there. So Swiss law requires that a user be notified if an authority makes requests for the private data and such data is to be used in criminal proceedings. However, that's a contradiction in terms. Swiss law requires that a user be notified if an authority makes a request for their private data. However, in certain situations, notification can be delayed. The following are examples of cases. Court order by the Swiss legal process itself, where based on information supplied by law enforcement, we, at our absolute discretion, believe that providing notice could create risk of injury, death. So, yeah, or if they decide that they don't want to notice it, if it's at their serve you notice or tell you, if it's at their discretion, they don't, they don't have to. As a general rule, targeted users will eventually be informed and afforded the opportunity. And then obviously you've got the request assistance. So yeah, while Proton Mail may be secure, they can be subpoenaed. People just, I don't know, assume it's the securest way to receive emails. It's not. There are other ways around it. With that, what else did I want to bring up? Tell me on here, 8:45. Right, let me go back to this. Can they actually read the contents, or is zero knowledge? Surely they must be able to read the contents. I don't know, to be honest. I'm unsure. I've not really looked into it that far. It's an interesting question, though. So let me delete this because that's not what I wanted. I've got some videos that are all planned, so one of them, I'll do this first actually. Let me copy that. Do this with you again. I keep just going off and Googling things on my own. I forget these. I was just looking at this question. Let's have a look. So encryption is at the heart of what makes it special, provides solutions. Yeah. What is encryption? I don't need to know that. Emails sent between Proton Mail users are always end-to-end encrypted. Yeah, I get that, but isn't it a web browser and you access it? I don't really use it myself. I've not used it for years. So, end-to-end encrypted. Isn't it stored on their servers anyway? So end-to-end encrypted if the password starts for non-Proton Mail users. Does it have a mail client? I'm assuming, and that's what it's on about, end-to-end encrypted. So, if that's the case, then you'd, as long as they're not stored on their servers, you'd probably have to delete the emails. I don't know. I'm not sure how that works. Obviously, they can't be to non-Proton Mail users. It just depends on emails from non-Proton Mail users to Proton Mail users. The email is encrypted in transit using TLS. It's unencrypted and re-encrypted by us for storage on our servers. So it does say zero access encryption has been allowed. Yeah, PGP's so that's, if I need to send something encrypted, that's generally how I'd do it. Absolutely, but you've still got the metadata in the emails, correct? But yeah, it does say that once zero access encryption has been applied, no one but you can access the mails stored on our servers, including us. It's not end-to-end encrypted, however, and might be accessible to the sender's email service. Yeah, that makes sense. Alternatively, you can receive end-to-end encrypted emails from non-Proton Mail users using PGP. Yeah, so if you need to send something that's encrypted, then I'd use PGP generally, and that's the way I do it if I need to send something that's sensitive. Yeah, all messages in your Proton mailbox are stored with zero access encryption. This means that we cannot read any of your messages or hand them over to third parties. This includes messages sent to you by non-Proton Mail users, although keep in mind if an email is sent to you from Gmail, Gmail likely retains a copy of that message as well, obviously. Password protected emails are also stored end-to-end encrypted. Subject lines, recipient, sender email address are encrypted but not end-to-end encrypted. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Excuse me. Got sidetracked on that again. Where's that just gone? I'd heard of an email service that claims it strips out the IP addresses out of emails, which is interesting. Not sure how that would work. I think it's Braxmail or something. I've never heard of them. I'm not sure how that would work myself, to be honest. Was this it? No idea what this is. Kind of weird. Go on. Sorry, I'm going to send this across so you can see it. What I'm looking at. Rob Braxman. I remember, this is I've heard of this actually. Keep your email content away from big tech. Now accessible via webmail. Purchasing this item will give you a new email account or renew the existing emails. I mean, yeah, you can always set up your own mail server and have your friends on that if you don't want their emails going anywhere else. Purchase this item will give you a new email account or renew an existing email associated with your account. $50 US. Can anyone see that? Because this is like, I can't make it any bigger. Just going off the screen. Let me do this. Wait, there we go. Sorry about that. I've just seen something on Reddit about it. Can't find much on it myself. He's some privacy guy on YouTube. Virtual phone-based subscription. There's no need for an actual phone. It's basically a virtual phone. I mean, this is the equivalent of a VPN and $89 US. I mean, for $89 US, you could just spin up an instance on Volta or DigitalOcean or something, and actually have your own open VPN. Brax router. Raspberry Pi 4B 4 gig with Brax VPN Tor router software. Wired or Wi-Fi? Why do you need a VPN Wi-Fi router if you can install a VPN on each device? So if I need to do it, I use DigitalOcean and not DigitalOcean. I'm using Volta, I think. I have a WireGuard set up straight from there from my phone. I also have one to the office, and if I need to, I can connect my laptops and stuff to the mobile. Found him, Rob Braxman Tech. Sorry to go down the rabbit hole. Remember saying something about it. I was just curious. No, learning with you. Certainly selling a lot of products. What knocks that? Oh, thought I was cheap then. $99 for a Nook. Yeah, I'll get one of them. Not for that, just for... It's pretty cheap for a Nook. It's Nook software. Software for Raspberry Pi, $99. This is a privacy guy on YouTube. Wow. You can reinstall Google Pixels. There's a reason he's using a Google Pixel, because it's quite easy to install another operating system on them. Less so with Android and iPhone. Wow. This guy does a lot of stuff. Yeah, no. Google Pixel has see, that's the one I was thinking of. I couldn't remember the name of the operating system when I said you can reinstall it. So, it's great for installing graphene on. It's actually very easy to do as well. I think David Bumble covered that as well. In fact, he did. He's got a video on putting graphene on a can't remember who it is though. Oh, stop it. Shut up. Reminds me I should yeah. If you don't know what graphene is and you're interested in it, he's got a video on it. So you search for David Bumble on YouTube. I'm sure you know who he is anyway. You want privacy? Ditch Android and Apple and install Graphene OS in 8 minutes. And I'm pretty sure this is on a...
Step into Wix.
Get off. I'm not even playing that because it's got an advert on it. But yeah, he's done how to install it. Say it's 10 minutes of a job to do. Move this back. Open this. You just grab this over here. That'll work. All these monitors.
Are you going to take the blue pill or the red pill?
Yeah, this is the one. It's installing Graphene OS on a Google Pixel. That's interesting to have a look at. I'll leave a link to that video down below in the description. Graphene's quite funky to play with. Yeah, watch some of David's stuff. He's really good. The video with the graphene developer is really juicy. Long listen though. Yeah, I watched that same video. It is quite a long video. He does do some good videos. Sounds like a UK guy. Not sure where he's from. Oh no, I'm guessing he's not. Must be US because spelt realize with a Z. Yeah, but he has done some good videos. He's done some on installing Kali Linux on your phone as well. Not sure why you'd need Kali Linux on a phone, but yeah. I run Android and I use Termux, which is really good, and I use it all the time. Just being able to SSH into things and having like a mini Linux client on your phone is dead handy to do. Where's that obsidian gone? Did I still not mention that? Where's that browser gone? So people keep, let me transition this over. I see loads of companies going on about DMARC, and they generally just, what it is, if you're familiar with emails and how SPF and DMARC works and DKIM, people like quick enough to slag each other off for it, saying, yeah, this company doesn't support DMARC or DKIM and everything like that. And when they do, they actually know what to do with it. So I was considering covering this. So whether you're watching this now or you're watching it later, if it's something you're interested in, I'm going to set it up anyway, so have a look. So, because I can't remember what you're using. Powered DMARC? Yeah, exactly that. So everyone will tell you it's for anti-spoof and things like that, but it's a bit more. It does much more than that. So it sends you reports of email servers will be sending reports back to your domain saying what emails it's received from your domain so you can analyze them. Now, a lot of people say, like, yeah, they've not enforced DMARC on your domain, or then they'll enforce it and then not do much with it. I think there's Power DMARC that does this as well. Sorry, I've got it on the screen. Couldn't see if we had it then. So scroll down to this screenshot. So this is basically I don't know how big I can make this. What you're supposed to do with it. So you can see your domain. The reporting organisation, so like Google's mail servers, will send you an email with an attachment that has a report of the emails it's received from your domain. And then you can jump into them and see what emails are being sent from you, type of thing, what other domains are pretending to be you, as well as domain protection. So I'm thinking of covering this actually, because can I get back out of this? I need to get back. God damn. A second. There we go. So yeah, when you're using DKIM, this is I was only thinking of covering this because it's it's open source, it's free, it's on GitHub, and you can see what it does. So you can see a report list of domains that are sending reports back to you, and then you can see the report detail of what's received. How many messages have been sent, identifiers, and it just helps you drill down and see what's going on with other people, either pretending to be you or not all mail servers support DKIM and DMARC, and a lot of people don't already have them set up. So this looks quite like an interesting project. So MariaDB, MySQL, PHP 7.3 or higher. A working web server, not necessary. requirements. A working web server, not necessary. Seems quite simple to set up. Because it's open source, you can dig through the code yourself and make sure there's nothing malicious in there. And all it does is basically logs into, move this back. All it does is basically, when you set DKIM up and that through DNS, you set the reporting address, and then all emails will get sent, all your reports will get sent there. And this utility will basically log in and pull the reports out and organise them into readable things. Actually went off on a tangent because I saw that before and thought, well, that looks interesting. I'm going to come back off that because that's not what I was going to go on about. I'm going to wrap up shortly. The last thing I wanted to discuss was video days. So it's no secret, I like FreeBSD. The other day I literally pulled together updated a 10-year-old server and brought it right up to date to, I think it was 9.3, and I brought it right up to date with version 13.3 for somebody, which was running a phone system, which was quite impressive that it did that. So I'm going to cover Unify on FreeBSD and how to set up your own Unify controller. And this is what I mean by sometimes it's hard for me to figure out what I should do with the videos. I need to figure out some way of doing this. Maybe set some up so people can post what type of videos they want. So I'm going to cover how to install the Unify controller so you've got your own on FreeBSD. Not everybody wants to do that. HomeLab users are great. But for businesses and things, see, I also have to take into account businesses that are looking at me. Because we work with businesses that have their own IT people. So we can set controllers up for them if they want to host it themselves, which we do all the time. And I use FreeBSD to do it. Once you've installed FreeBSD, it's one line to install Unify. Package install Unify 8, and then the same with upgrading it, just package upgrade it. And that's why I like using FreeBSD. Plus I've just used it since a long time, and it's one of the easiest operating systems for me to use. Do you host a Unify controller and the host in the jail? I host it in the jail. And I'm going to cover that in the video. So I'm going to cover installing it on the host, and I'll cover installing it in the jail. If you install it in a jail, then obviously, even if you're installing it on the host, you use like PF to protect it. And there's just a bit more, it's not hard if you've done it before. I'm going to do the video that walks through it. So if you put it in a jail, you've just got to do the NAT correctly. So NAT the traffic coming out of the jail. The jail is a container or Docker. So it's on FreeBSD, so jails are jails. So they're not like Docker containers. FreeBSD doesn't support Docker. A jail is like a jailed off version of the operating system. So you can install FreeBSD on itself in a jail. Yeah, so Felix has got it right. So you can use it in a jail, but with VNet. And that's what I'm going to cover, how to install it in a jail. So I use jails on FreeBSD, especially on development machines. So I'll use jails and I'll install like Nginx or Apache in one jail with PHP 5, for example, and do another one with PHP 7 and another one with PHP 8, and then I'll put HA proxy on the host, or you can stick that in a jail as well, and then you can direct the traffic to the correct jails and the correct versions of PHP through HA proxy, which allows me to test the website that I'm doing on multiple versions of PHP. It's especially good when I'm upgrading older websites, I can stick the older website in like a 7.4 PHP jail or a 5.6, depending on how old it is. Redo the new one on 8.2 or 8.3, and then just point it to the right place. So FreeBSD jails are really powerful, and it just means that they're more secure than Docker containers, I think, as well. And just because of the way that they work and the way they're protected. So installing Unify on one, if the jail gets compromised, you can't get out to the host. Yeah, so I'm going to cover FreeBSD and installing a Unify controller on it. And this came up because I said I'd cover Hostify for people that don't want to use their own hosted controllers. Not every company has IT staff in-house, and not everybody that I'm talking to are necessarily home lab users. Some people are just businesses and they're looking for a solution to use. So let me pull our website up. This is the right one, isn't it? Yep. So Hostify is a great solution for anybody looking for somebody to do it for them. So when I've covered, I'll probably cover them in the same video. Actually, I might split the videos up. Don't know the best way to do it. Just bought a Minis Forum MSO1 for the home lab. We were building anything and everything on it. Look forward to the videos and make some requests. Maybe in hire SC for some help if we're open to it. Yeah, I say we've picked, we've done a lot of projects. I've installed pfSense firewalls for some colleges. We've done some TrueNAS installations for customers, and that's all come through YouTube stuff. So yeah, I don't mind looking on it. Any suggestions, I'm more than open to. The videos that I do, they're really not planned. And I know that I've started like trying to do 2 or 3 a week. This week's been a bit meh. Just due to me having my head in a server for 3 days non-stop, even though it's been a bank holiday weekend, I've been working on a server that had issues. So we got that back out, but I've not had time to do anything over the weekend video-wise. But yeah, any feedback on the videos that you like, I say I just do them on what I'm working on at the time. So I'll probably do one on Bitwarden as well, because I need to move it. We do self-hosted Bitwarden. It's hidden behind a VPN, so you can't even access our Bitwarden server externally. And then that's locked down to who can access it. And I need to move the server that it's on, because it's on quite a... kept up to date, but it's still running on CentOS. And it works. I'm going to move it to Debian, so while I'm doing that, I'll do a video on it. The FreeBSD Unify stuff, we use it all the time, and it is rock solid. I don't have any issues with it. And one of the great things about, if you run it on FreeBSD, the install of FreeBSD, I've done videos on installing it, and straight out of the box, it supports ZFS. And because it's in a jail, if you do it in IO Cage, there's various ways of doing jails. There's like 3-4 different ways of doing jails on FreeBSD. So you can use IO Cage, which is probably how I'll do it for this. It's the simplest method, but it can break sometimes when you upgrade Python on the host, but it's easy to fix. So I'll do any videos on that. I also do it on the raw, using just raw FreeBSD for the jails. But you can just take a snapshot of your controller and upgrade it, roll it back, do whatever. So I'm going to cover that. You'd have to let me know what you prefer on Proxmox or XCPNG, because we use both. I use Proxmox mainly for testing and XCPNG for most of the stuff that we do. what you could also do is that add guard home DNS blocker on FreeBSD as Pi-hole. The Pi-hole works great on a Raspberry Pi, and I've done a video on that. In fact, it's one of the more popular videos that I've done that got like, it's had a lot of, it's about 8,000 views, more than that, 10,000 on people setting up a Raspberry Pi for it. AdGuard I haven't used because I'm usually using pfSense or OpenSense, and you can just is it Steve's list that you can just import straight into it, which does kind of the same thing. So you can also use ZenArmor, or you can use the built-in block lists on OpenSense, and on pfSense obviously it's got PF Blocker built into it. Would definitely be interested in a Bitwarden video. So I've done a Bitwarden video before on how to install it, but it was on CentOS before. It was on CentOS before it went over to CentOS Stream, and that's the only reason that I want to redo that video, because I don't think there's many people using it. I'm still using it, and it still works fine. But that video's, the installation process is not much has changed. There's an easier way to do it, but I still prefer the original way of doing it. I think it uses MySQL or something like that, the new version, whereas the old one uses, it's Docker. I think the new way is Docker. But I'll have a look and I'll redo the videos on it both ways, in fact. But yeah, with Unified, some people prefer, like businesses, I say, if they've got their own IT people, they don't necessarily want to be messing about keeping things up to date. And people have got a bad habit of not keeping software up to date when they install it. So me doing the video on FreeBSD is quite a good way of doing it. But Hostify is a great option for any businesses that don't necessarily want to mess about with doing it and looking after themselves. Now, I was speaking to Riley the other day, actually, and I'm going to cover Hostify as a business can use it, because they've done some amazing things. This Hostify discovery tool, if you've not used this, this is a great tool. So the video that I did a couple of weeks ago where we was talking about that Flex Mini, even though the SSH port is blocked on it, move this back to me, I'm talking to a screen. So even though the SSH port is blocked, sorry, it is open, but you can't SSH into it. The guys over at Hostify, like, dug into what he was doing. I think he said he put Wireshark on it. In fact, let me stick it back to this. I'm talking about it. So I'll leave the links. In fact, just go to hostify.com and you can download it from there. But they put Wireshark on it to see what was happening, and they figured out that what JSON it was sending, and then they updated their discovery tool so that you can actually discover the Flex Mini, and what they've ones, the Ultra switches as well. You can discover them, and then you can just use a discover tool to set the inform URL. So this is so by going with Hostify, you support the things that they're doing. Keep doing that. You support what they're doing, and the team's great. And I know that Ubiquity have started offering Unify support, but they used to do it in the past, and they ended it. Are they going to end it again? But these guys manage everything for you. It's a straight setup. The server sets up in seconds. That was a coincidence. Great reputable company. Highly recommended. Sam Sheridan, Sheridan Computers. Yeah, what that guy says. I didn't even realise that was there. Yeah, their team are dead great. They're dead helpful, and the support's really good. So I'm going to cover that as well for businesses that want to do that. Was there anything else on that? Interesting. If you ever need to support hundreds of unified devices, I know where to look. Yeah. If you're doing it at scale, then we have companies, and we just, we'll just send them there because they don't necessarily want us managing it. Or if they're not managed service customers and they want us to install Wi-Fi, then we'll suggest this. But yeah, the support's really, really good. And Unify. Riley's a top guy as well that does that. So yeah, we'll be covering more Bitwarden, more Unify, pfSense and OpenSense. Looks like I've started now covering both of them. Do I do the video pfSense versus OpenSense? Seems to be a highly asked question. Probably get a lot of things on YouTube, but it's just personal preference at the end of the day to which you prefer. I don't actually mind either. Without getting into the politics of things. Where's that gone? It's on this page. I think we're about done, otherwise I'm going to end up here all night. As it happens, not really get anywhere else to go, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, so the last things I wanted to talk about was Unify on FreeBSD, Hostify on FreeBSD. I don't even mind covering Asterisk more, That server that I mentioned rebuilding, so it was on FreeBSD 9.3. We installed that back in 2014. There's 20 to 30 users on that system. So it's an on-premise system, obviously, running Asterisk. I think it was FreeBSD 9.3 and Asterisk 8. How much money has that company saved? The owner of the company got an email notification, because that's the way we set it up, with mirrored drives in it, and they got a notification saying one of the drives had died. What kind of hardware did you use? So one of the drives had died. They only got an email notification saying it had died. So we went out, and I'd not been there for literally 10 years. We went out, and I replaced the drive, and the system come back on. Sometimes I get too involved in things, so I'm trying to sell him another one on the latest version. But that's actually the system that I tried to upgrade from 9.3 with Asterisk 8 up to FreeBSD 13.3 with the latest version of Asterisk. And it went plain sailing. Well, not plain sailing, but it went and it worked. Don't know many operating systems you can do that with. So, clicked it off. So, what kind of hardware did you use? God, I have used all sorts for it. And it actually doesn't need to be that powerful, even for a system of 20 users. But if you go with a cloud-based system, God, it's Gamma most people seem to resell. We use VoIP.co.uk. They have their own hosted system, which we can use with just SIP trunks connected to Asterisk, or they have like Universe, which is like a hosted system for people, which is what we do. If people want an on-prem version like they did, so you've got, usually works out at £15 per person per handset. So if you've got 20 people, and then 20 people, it's like what, $4.5 grand a year. So over 10 years, 45k. These guys just pay for the phone calls because they own the phones, they own the hardware, and it's run for 10 years without having to pay that much money per person. Hardware wise, I'll cover this quick while I'm these things. Let me put it out one sec. Oh, Microsoft. The microphone didn't pick my stomach up rumbling then, because transition this across. So I was using these PC engines, APU2. We've had them out for. We've got a lot of these out. Literally running for years. And I bought a couple of them because I knew they was going end of life, so I've got a couple of spares. But they're not stupidly high spec. So that's the one that I went with, which was the APU2E4, which had 3 gigabit NICs on it. It run on an AMD GX412 TC CPU and 4 gig of RAM. We've got loads of these out as well. APU2 D4s and C4s. These were great for firewalls, running phone systems, asterisk. That other one was just running on it was a rack mount Supermicro PC, I think, where one of the SATA drives had died. But yeah, PC Engine stuff, unfortunately now discontinued. There's... Will this work while I'm on YouTube? It should do. So let me pull this over. There's some company called Sheridan Computers on YouTube that's covered some stuff like this. Which one was it? Is that the one? Oh yeah, if you follow, if you're interested in FreeBSD, these are awesome channels, as it says. Gary H Tech and Robo Nuggy, both good guys, but I don't want to do this. But don't play this. Shut up. Yeah, to you too. Is this actually the hardware, or is it the... That's the wrong one. I can't find it. Bloody adverts. One sec. Keep signing into a browser that's not... sign into YouTube. And I'm not playing somebody else's adverts across the top. So this video, AliExpress mini PC hardware. I've used these for... I've got one running at home, and I've got about 2 or 3 test ones, and they are much more powerful than the PC Engines ones. But I mean, PC Engines, you can't really compare them. There is 3 times the price of them, but the PC Engines, just say I've got loads of them out there that have been running for 10 years. I've never really had a bad... I've not had a bad one, actually. The only thing I've had is a bad power supply. But these things are available on AliExpress. Actually, I go in and strip these down. grab that in a second. These have got 4 2.5 gig NICs, NVMe drive. You stick your own RAM in them. The only thing is you can't get BIOS update, which is slightly concerning. But in fact, this is one that I've got running at home, and I had it running on a PC Engine's APU2E4. But due to the way FreeBSD works with PPPoE, it just couldn't get the speed when I changed my connection at home to 1 gig. Let me just 1 second. See if I can find this one then. The Mini Forum MS01. Okay. i9-12 gem. UK adapter, bare bone. 549 quid. I've seen these mentioned a few times. Does it serve the home of somebody that's looked at these? I got the 96 gig of RAM and DDR5. Wow. There's not much information on it. Am I missing the link? $96 gig of RAM, that's a lot. I mean, don't get wrong, we've got servers in here running 128 gig of RAM each, but they're 550 quid bare bone. The thing is, they'll last. And it's not a lot to outlay, especially for businesses to look after the thingy, so so it's got 2 USB headphone power. I like these cases. You can do a lot with them, and they're that small. Oh, all right. Now I understand the price. Are these where are these guys? Are they like US based or what? Oh no, adapter UK. So it's got 2. Are they SFP plus? Wow. Yeah, so it's got 2 10 gig SFPs on it, 2 2.5 gig LANs, 2 USB-Cs, HDMI, and 2 USB 3s. If they want to send me one for testing, I wouldn't say no. Yeah, no, actually, that's a really good price for that. SSD drives. Distribute the PCA lines properly as well, no shortcuts. They look solid. I'm interested in getting my hands on one to have a look, actually. Heh, bite with a keyboard. I didn't realise there was more on the page. What was at the bottom? Super Performance Mini PC. th Gen Core 9 CPU. X710 gigabit dual ports. Oh wow, it supports 3. This thing's actually quite amazing. I'd think so. It should be fast enough for a 10 gigabit second OpenSense pfSense file solution. So it's got standard PCI Express. Triple solid state. Triple solid state supports RAID 0 or RAID 1. Don't it support whatever you install on it? If it's ZFS, it'll support RAID Z. Samsung 990 Pro, is that the SSD? Total Ethernet speed of 65 gigabits a second. This is quite impressive hardware. If you don't work for them, do you? And just get them to showcase it. Certainly a nice looking kit. Compatible with Intel V Pro hardware acceleration for virtualization such as GPU and sound cards. Oh wow. Through Intel AMT remote management, remote KVM control can be achieved at the BIOS level. Okay. Wow, that thing's really impressive. Oh, and there's the oh shit. I like these. I need to get one and try it out. There's loads of people doing vPro. It's handy to have. Equipped with a PCIe 4.0 slot times 16. Allowing for the installation of high performance external GPUs, network cards, storage controls, and other devices. Impressive kit. I like the fact that it supports 3 SSDs. Only one is Gen 4 MT though. Still, how much speed do you need out of a firewall? That's what I'm looking at these for. R2 and a... I hadn't looked at them before. What? Okay, this website's funky. Yeah, no, they're oh, they go even cheaper. I should be more familiar with these than I am. Thank you for bringing them up. Something I'll definitely be looking into. No, let me transition this back anyway. Right, it has literally got to... how long have we been at this? What time is it? A couple of hours. I'm going to have to get my ass out of the office. So thank you for those that turned up. And thank you for pointing them. What were they? Let me copy that link down, actually. Where was it? That. Let me just copy that. Paste it. Yeah, so thanks for bringing them up. I really wouldn't mind taking a look at them. So yeah, as I say, we've got more videos coming on OpenSense, PFSense, FreeBSD, Bitwarden. I take them all into account that you want. If there's any others, feel free to comment on any of the videos or head over to the forums and suggest them. Trying to get better at doing these, but thank you for keeping me company for the last couple of hours. I will be back next week, and I'll have some more videos out in the meantime. So thank you. Where's stop? I can never find it.